Does every nation get these estates? No, different nations get different estates. So because France was historically a very aristocratic state, the aristocracy is really prevalent here. Some others, like Venice, will have a more prevalent burghers, and I know that there are several others. In fact, it lists them right there. So you can have tribal estates, freeholders. Those are the only other two, I think. I thought there might be like Cossacks, but maybe not. So we're currently recruiting a bunch of soldiers. Those are the ones the estates are going to give us, which will be great. And the great thing about the estates giving us those troops is they pay for them. We also gained a bunch of money. I suspect that was just because we're awesome. So we're going to go ahead and recruit some French Chevalier. They are a unique unit to us. So there are now national unique units. So if we take a look at... No, can't actually see that yet. You do still have a choice, but the Chevaliers are better than like the regular knights of this era. So we do want to have a couple more of those. I'm actually kind of tempted to go for another. How much money are we making? Plus 4.97, so I suspect trade has kicked in. Yeah, we're going to go for one more, which is going to bring our cavalry up to 6 cavalry, 8 infantry. So we do need some infantry. We'll grab 2 more infantry, which brings us to 16 of the 18 force limit. We could get 2 more. Sod it, we will. Force limit early on in the game is very low, and when you're not at war, your force limit goes down even further. So in wartime, you need to hurry in some military production in order to meet that. And also during wars, obviously you can say, yo, nobility, give us some troops. Alright, another thing I want to do. I don't actually own any forts down here. I was hoping I could park you in one of the provinces with a fort, but there aren't any. So the blue forts are ones owned by an estate or the local area. They do have some fortifications, but they don't tend to be nearly as effective as the fortifications owned by the state, which generally are higher level, and also the ones that you're paying for. So the estates have some forts, so different provinces do still have different levels of combat ability. AI colonization helper events. These events are designed to help the AI colonial powers to colonize in the historically correct areas by granting them provinces or pushing them towards historically accurate conquests. This will make them more challenging on a global scale. Would you like to play with or without them? I'm going to turn that one on. Leading trade city, Venice. For centuries, the Silk Road was used as a main trade route between the east and the west. As a naval power, Venetian merchants traded with the Arabs to the east, returning with oriental goods to the harbours. Venice itself serves as an entry point for the European trade. Okay. Historical religions. There are several religion events that nudges AI European countries towards their historically accurate religion. Do you want to play with these events? I'm going to say no, actually. I want to see what happens with that. Historical migration events. Several migration events have been added to simulate the population exodus of Europe to the colonies of America and improves the historical colonization of the New World. However, these events are currently untested in MEIOU and Taxes 2.5. Do I wish to play with them? Yes, because I think that will boost how strong the New World becomes. This event carefully balances countries to ensure somewhat historical outcome and balanced historical conflicts. This, of course, optional but recommended. Balancing scales with countries as their economies grow in size. Off. That sounds like favoured nation. Okay, you guys are still up there. We're starting to get a couple of our troops here. Naples has announced France as a new rival. Not much I can do about that. I'm at war. Sverige tells us of the oppressed Swedes. So this is the Swedish Civil War. Leading trade city, Venice tariff. The biennial customs duty collected from visiting merchants and ships have been sent to the treasury. It seems only fair they should get to pay their share of the privilege of trading in our great city. In addition, tax revenues are being boosted by the increased usage of Venetian establishments by the visiting sailors and merchants. They gain 200 ducats and a tax income of plus 60 for the next 2 years. Mental. Right, I need a drink. I'm talking a lot. Time for some tea! Ooh, who's offering us an alliance? Scotland is. I'm going to accept that. Also Trastamara is. Trastamara is currently in a civil war against Castile, but they are actually a bit bigger than you would think. The colours are very, very similar, but these darker yellow is Trastamara, and then the lighter yellow is Castile, and I think they're allied with Aragon. Actually double check that. They are indeed allied with Aragon and Flanders, and they are fighting against Portugal and Genoa. I'm going to say, yeah, we'll take that alliance. Because I'm hoping that Trustomara wins that war and then they basically become Castile. How's Byzantium holding up in this time period? They're still alive. They still control a section of Greece, Thrace. I wonder if they have vassals. Do you have vassals? No, they're just guaranteeing the independence of Morea. Right, yeah, vassals. That's another thing we need to talk about. So there are different types of vassals. And the different vassals have different abilities and also different rules for annexation. We have got, in France, currently, feudal subjects, which is Armagnac, Bar, Commigne, Foix and Valentois. And we also have appendages, Apanages, those guys, which is Anjou, Bourbonnais, Burgundy, Alençon and Orléans. I think that these guys are more like actual vassals. They can't deviate from your foreign policy and stuff like that. And these guys are a little bit more autonomous and also the more powerful. I think you can convert one into the other. Don't really know anything about that. Didn't really investigate it too heavily when I was playing last. So I can't really comment on what exactly that means. I'll show you the whole of Europe. Yeah, there you go. The whole of Europe, including a gloriously powerful Novgorod in this time period. Hopefully they can stick around, while Muscovy, which is this little guy, doesn't. Oh man, I needed that. Right, so, onwards. We are still earning money. Speaking of money, has trade fully initialized? Yes, so trade is definitely fully initialized. So we are currently collecting our paltry 4% in the Northwest Atlantic, and we are sending money from the West Mediterranean into France. So we're sending money to France and then just kind of not doing anything with it. So I am thinking that we're actually going to start collecting in France. And we're going to recall you, and we're going to have somebody else pushing money from there into you. Because I want a bigger portion of that cash. This should earn us more money overall. So we're currently on 4.42. At the end of the month, trade income will change again. Hey, Moshelslav. New strategy. Annex all of England in one go. I'm not dabbing. Royal marriage from Lorraine. Am I allied to Lorraine? Because I accepted a couple of royal marriages from people before. No, I am not. So no, I am not taking that because you're just going to tie up a Diplo slot. Vive la roi! Vive la France! Alright, then another thing, you will notice that we do have a lot of minions right now. So I think I want to get some of those minions and tell them to start going for these territories. So we're going to go to the subjects interaction. We're going to go start sieging their stuff down. Don't worry about the battles, I'll deal with that. Sieges in the early game are extremely expensive in terms of attrition. So I'd much prefer that these guys were paying that cost so that I didn't have to. Battles though, I don't mind doing the battles. Wait, I loathe France since the World Cup. Hey, I'm not Croatian. A loan offer from Scotland. So, here's another thing. Which, last time I just clicked through. But, if you take a loan, those loans cost 10% interest per annum. 10%! That's crazy. But Scotland is offering me a loan of 20 ducats for only 4%. Do I need those monies? No, I don't think so. If I really need money, I'll get it from the Burghers, because they owe me for the privilege of living in France. But yeah, loans are definitely not the way to just spend your way to victory anymore. Right, how's the army here looking? 8 infantry, 1 cavalry, so we're still waiting for a bunch of our cavalry units to arrive. They are still under construction. you've joined. And commanders. We do actually have a pretty good commander in Bertrand Le Gousselin, which is good, because we're going to need to use you to go and beat up some of these guys. So the plan is much the same as we did last time. We're going to take and hold Aquitaine and Bordelot type region, and then we'll go and deal with the English up in the north. But basically we want to erode support of their allies while we can, and that will hopefully turn the war score against them. Pays de Notte is the war goal, which is you. So we want to make sure that they don't capture that. Okay, we can do that. In fact, we're going to start moving north with that in mind. So we're going to move up to here. We'll deal with these guys after. So again, I'm going to be fighting the battles. I'm going to let my minions do the sieging. We will be losing territory in the north, but I'm okay with that. We're focusing. We do have very high papal influence with the Pope, because the Pope absolutely adores us. Because we have a bunch of cardinals and nobody else does. We are going to make sure that relations with the Roman territories is improved, so the Pope doesn't want to murder me. I'm also going to set some of my diplomats on own subject countries. I'm going to put 2 of them on the own countries. Although they're actually currently idle, so maybe not. 1 on allies? Currently idle, but maybe that'll change. And then we're going to spend some of the papal influence. So, Ecumenical Council will cost 30 papal influence, but that can't actually happen until the Protestant Reformation. And even then, it doesn't give you money. It just says, hey, we need to sort out what the Protestants are doing. We can get indulgences for sins, which we can only get if we are in a religious scandal, where you're actually having to get an indulgence for a sin you have committed. We can get the Ruler Blessed, which costs 50 papal influence, gains us 20 prestige and 2 legitimacy. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Get our prestige up, gets our morale up, means that we're more likely to win fights. Proclaim a holy war, at war with religious enemies. We're not. And beautify a saint. We've got nobody who's a candidate for sainthood, so that's irrelevant. And then we can send a papal legate, which would allow us to get advisors. Advisors, yes, here's another thing that we need to worry about. So, advisors in this game now have generally got 2 abilities. So, for example, this chap here does morale of armies and also military tech cost, although not all of them do that. This guy, for example, plus 1.5 discipline is a level 1. Manpower recovery speed, manpower morale speed, fort defense and siege ability. That sounds like quite a nice one, although the discipline would also be good. So the papal legate, is that going to be a half price guy? Choosing this option will give you a random advisor of certain types. You can assert general influence on what type of the event, but you cannot determine completely what they will be. You know what? I'm going to do that. Didn't do it last time, don't really know what it does. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start spending some points so that we can be more likely to get the next Curia controller. Although I must remember to actually keep an eye on that this time, because I did a terrible job of that last time. Okay, Flanders broke their alliance because they rivaled me. That's a mistake, Flanders. Papal legate summoned to Paris. In response to our pleas, the Holy Father has agreed to send us a pious confessor to aid us in our holy cause. Ask for an experienced bishop. That will be a tolerance of heretics, admin, missionary, unrest, diplomatic rep, improve rel, or an Augustinian monk. This is more diplomatic, this is more administrative, so I'm going to go with the Augustinian monk. So what do we get, and does he cost half? That's the real question. Nobody here seems to be half price. Yes, we did. It's this guy. So we now have a half price stability increase interval and prestige decay reduction, which is actually very good because we've been building up our prestige a little bit already. And the stability increase interval. Right, so stability is no longer a thing you just spend admin points and boom, you have more stability. It's a thing which happens over time. You can invest in it financially. You can spend more in your court on stability things, but over time you generate stability points. Once you have 150 of these stability points, you can then choose to go up in stability. Changing the stability interval means that instead of once a year you get these points, the interval between those point allocations decreases, and therefore in the long term you get more stability. So that's a good thing. The other thing is, I do want to hire a military guy. Morale of armies would be really nice, but that 4.5 a month, a little bit too expensive. So I think we'll probably go for the discipline, possibly fort defense. We'll go discipline. I'm going to let the minions do the fort fighting. So royal marriage offer from Scotland. We'll reduce his legitimacy slightly, but we've already got 96, so it's fine. And we are actually allied with the Scots. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and attack that. You still hold for a while. So we've just lost another province. In fact, we just lost this one. That's really irritating. Alright, we're not going to do that. We're going to continue heading north. I was hoping to lift that siege, but didn't do it. So we're going to go to Anjou. And you, I'm going to go through friendly territories to get there because I don't want you taking attrition. Aganoir captured by the enemy. Yeah, fine. Oh, that was just Nightbot, that wasn't me. Apparently we're spamming symbols. Naughty, naughty. Oh, I just got rid of my preview. There it is. My notifications. This is not the setup I'm used to playing with. In fact, how many people are even viewing? There is so little information here. I don't like this. Has that layout changed? Look, it has. Where's my preview gone? There it is. Aha. Oh, right. That's gone over there. So I need to do this. Yeah, I'm going to need to do some serious restarting when this stream is over. The Bishop of Anglemois. Catholic bishops received a benefice, a grant of land, in return for services rendered to their community. Bishops were expected to oversee the religious orders and churches of the diocese, root out corruption, advise local nobles, pass judgments on ecclesiastical crimes, and appoint new priests to parishes. A particularly competent bishop was a blessing for a ruler whose realm was more stable and efficient as a result. So Anglemois gets effective bishop, or we can take an interest in his career, which basically means that he becomes an advisor. No, peace and order, we just hired an advisor. Historical weather events. There are several regional and global events that simulate the adverse weather phenomenon seen over the last few centuries, such as cold periods, shorter ice ages, volcanic eruptions. These will have adverse effects on nutrition, supply limit, and food production. Some events are more likely to trigger during cold events. Do you wish to play with these? Yeah, that sounds cool. We'll do that. Right, those guys just left for whatever reason. I might actually be able to go and kick the English out up there, because it looks like we're doing a pretty good job with the minions down here. So as long as they don't get a foothold up in the north, that would make me really quite happy. So we're going to head over here. Not you two, you're going to go that way. We just have really lots and lots of troops in comparison to our enemies. Oh, we just passed through a attrition place there. Manpower returns very slowly, which is why I'm so careful about suffering attrition. Like, manpower is important, and I'd really rather not lose it where possible. Okay, so you guys have arrived. We can group you up. We're getting some French Chevalier here. It does look like that we're going to lose Pays de Caux, but in terms of everything else we should be able to hold it, although that does give England a little bit of a way in. Right, so our infantry armies have just arrived. Together with the cavalry we can go and relieve some of the sieges over here and hopefully kick many of the English out. Right, so we have 15,000 men, 5,000 cavalry, 10,000 infantry. I think we can do some damage. Although they've just won that siege, they're going to come down here to try and assist in that battle. Hopefully we don't give the time to do that. Although Brittany has just come in. Well, Montfort rather. Yep, they are going to arrive, which means we're going to lose this battle. Not a lot I can do about that right now. We're going to back out, I think. Although they are at a -1, they do have more discipline than we do. And they have more cavalry. Yeah, this is not in our favour, so I'm going to back off. We killed more of them than they killed of us, so it's fine. Cavalry flanking ability plus 25%. Together with a French Chevalier, that's really good. Oh dear. I just lost an entire regiment. That's really frustrating. So after the war is finished, your estates want their troops back. And the less troops that you are able to return to them, the more pissed off they frankly become. So if we're not able to get this guy away, then we're going to lose some estate stuff. He got away though. They were too slow. Okay, that's fine. Speed of colonization. This event reverts to the original MEIOU and Taxes colonization speed in order to better balance the game and presents most of the Americas being colonized by the 1560s, mostly by Spain. Highly recommended for those for a close to historical experience to enable this. Yes. Unfortunately, we are losing some troops up there, but at least they're not mine. Ain't that right, guys? Who's fighting in here? Okay, so I can now negotiate for the freedom of Jean II, so just to show you what that means, I can click on that. The perfidious scum has the audacity to ask us for all of Aquitaine, claiming it is the heirloom dating back to Eleanor. So we can give them the land, in which case we get a 543 as ruler, and Charles the Dauphin becomes the heir, and we lose some war exhaustion. Or we can say no. I'm going to say no. I still think we can win this war. That's tantamount to giving in. We're now losing money, but that's because we're reinforcing, I believe. Big fight going on here, which we may actually lose, so let's go and reinforce. It's time for us to go and slap down some of these armies. England looks like they're separating up their soldiers, which is good. We did win that battle, good. We lost that one though. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to attack into here. These guys are going in the wrong direction. They're going to be quite a long way away. Where are these guys going? Yeah, they are going here. So am I. Why can't I shift consolidate? I can. Okay, so we've arrived. We have 24,000 against their 8,000. We are a bit low on morale, but hopefully winning this battle will give us some morale back again. And there are a lot of us here. And we did win the battle, so some more war score. Excellent. Let's continue to chase them down. I want to take these guys out completely. Whose side is Burgundy? Ours. So we are slowly but surely taking Aquitaine back. Got you sieging that down. Montfort still has a lot of troops. How many troops do we actually have in comparison to them? So they have less infantry but more cavalry, and we, yeah, that. But overall, it's roughly the same. Yeah, losing that first battle was actually very, very annoying. We are, however, going to fight you here. This is hilly. It's -1. I have a 4 maneuver. They have a 3 maneuver, so this is not going to be a river crossing. Or it shouldn't be. It was a... Wait, what? Why? Oh! It's a fort. We get the defensive bonus. Haha! So yeah, these guys attacking you are going to do some damage, but we are taking some of these forts back again. We're doing a significant amount of damage to the Aquitanian army here. Reinforcements are coming in, but we don't really need them. This fight is as good as over. That was a squishing. That was an absolute squishing. Ah, lovely. English army is still fairly close, so I think we're going to go to... Let's see where the supply limit's actually reasonable. Up to Berry. I mean, we could really do with getting some more morale back again. "2211, 2211, they are the same quality. Yeah, E3 is a great game, but E4 is better in every way, like Cromwell said. E3 was a great game. I played an awful lot of it before 4 came out. I really want to see what that English army is doing. I mean, what I could do... Ah, they're going north. That's good. So if I can stay down here and take Montfort out, that would make me feel really good. I'm going to go and attack them. Let's do a quick shift consolidate just in case. Some of these guys might try and turn around, but England's gone completely the wrong direction. Stack wipe. Glorious. So if the English head all the way back up to there, then hopefully I can do some damage to Montfort down here. Flanders have embraced banking, giving them the following: production efficiency bonus and interest per annum -2. So, that is one of the institutions. One of the things that you will notice is there are a couple of new ones. We all have legalism. Legalism is fairly standard, except in Ireland apparently, and parts of Norway, some of the White Horde, the Mamelukes, Tlemcen, but we all have it generally. It gives us +1 state and also maximum centralization, although England didn't start with it, but they embraced it like almost immediately. Meritocracy has also appeared, however it starts in China, and because we don't have meritocracy, we will start suffering a technology cost. At the start of this game, China is actually technologically ahead of Europe. I think they're Tech 5, we're a Tech 3, Africa's Tech 1, North America's Tech 0, something like that. There is more of a difference between the technologies of the different regions and the different realms. And the fact that China starts with meritocracy means they have an advantage in that when we have to wait until it spreads to us. However, at the same time, banking spawns, and banking always starts in Genoa, and it's at the start of the game starting to slowly spread throughout Europe. So a fair amount of northern Italy has already got it, and it's starting to kind of worm its way around, and then Flanders just got it, so they must have spent some money and things. And then after that, it kind of reverts to the normal, so Renaissance, casual literacy, globalized trade, manufacturers and enlightenment, each of them with their own requirements for embracing.